Let's move on to our next session of the United Economic Forum. And this session is about how the community can contribute. So it's community contribution to economy of Tamil Nadu, past, present, and future. And on this, we have two speakers. Our first speaker, I'm going to invite over, and it's our privilege to have him here. He's none other than Nawabzada Mohamed Asif Ali. A big round of applause to him, sir. Yes. As Sir climbs up on stage, allow me the privilege to introduce him. He's the Dewan to the Prince of Arcot. He's a distinguished representative of Chennai's historic royal family, carrying forward a legacy of civic harmony and social upliftment. Educated at Don Bosco and Loyola College, he blends tradition with progressive leadership and public responsibility. As president of the Carnatic Family Association, he works to preserve cultural heritage and foster unity across communities. Through the Arcot Foundation, where he serves as founder trustee, he advances inclusive humanitarian initiatives. A respected global voice, he has addressed international forums, including the UN Center in Bangkok, and delivered a keynote on education for peace at the 19th International Human Rights Summit at the United Nations, New York, 2025. An innovative entrepreneur, he leads ventures grounded in ethical foresight. He received an honorary doctorate in social work from the International Global Peace University and represented India at the Global Justice, Love and Peace Summit in Dubai. His TEDx talk, Building Bridges, Not Walls, and his music compositions, including Raste, reflect his commitment to empathy, youth empowerment, and sustainable development. What's not mentioned here is his love for quizzing. He is Chennai's favorite quiz master, along with being an eminent royal personality. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Respected members of the UEF, respected dignitaries, my dear ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I wish to thank the Almighty for the opportunity He has given us to be here under this roof, hale and healthy. And I wish to thank my dearest brother, Mr. Ahmad Buhari Sahab, who has given me the honor to be the chairman, an honorary chairman, I would say, because the hard work and the vision what this man has, as I said yesterday, that he is like the phoenix who has risen from the ashes. Ahmad Bhai, yourself, Sajid Bhai, Muhammad Ali Bhai, Habib Bhai, Naveed, Ajmal, I can go on, Sharif Bhai, Peer Sahab, Razia, your entire team, your vision, the actual hard work, what's gone through, what I've seen, what Ahmad Buhari and this entire team has done is amazing. You need a big round of applause for that, Ahmad Bhai. And I'm not going to talk about, again, what we spoke yesterday about the UEF, because I think now people know what UEF is, but still, I'll touch a bit on that. So, very good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and vanakkam. I was given, we decided I'm going to speak for 15 minutes, but I'm going to cut short to 7 or 8 minutes only, because we are running short of time, or maybe 1 minute here and there. So I'm going to talk on our community's contribution for the welfare of the Tamil Nadu state. So I'm going to touch a bit on the past, little on the present, and bit on the future. And this is my point of view. And Ahmad Bhai, always there, will be there for UEF and your amazing vision and mission. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you not as a member of the Muslim community, but first and foremost as a proud citizen of our state of Tamil Nadu and the citizen of our great country, India. Because Tamil Nadu is not just a state, it is our home. The land that gave our forefathers respect, dignity, it gave us an identity, it gave us the livelihood. See, one simple truth. Our state of Tamil Nadu was not built by any one community, right? It was built by many communities coming and holding hands and walking together, then this state of Tamil Nadu was built. And today, when I speak about the Muslim community's contribution to our state, with respect of the past, present, and future, and most importantly, the responsibility what we hold for the future. Okay, let's go one by one. Let's go to the past first. So Muslims have lived in Tamil Nadu for what? Over 1,000 years, or even more, I think. Our traders, they helped build the ports in Tamil Nadu, like Kilikarai, Kayalpatnam, Nagaur, and Madras, which is now called Chennai. And this building of the state by the Muslim community was done with honesty and fair dealing. Because then of our forefathers, the trade was not just only business. It was more of a trust and building relationships. So this is the past. And if you see, the masjids, or we call it in English mosques, were not only the centers of prayer or salah. Mosques, many people misunderstand that it is a place of learning, of meetings, of charity, and many more things. And most importantly, Muslims lived in harmony with the people of other faiths. That's what makes our state of Tamil Nadu stand out from many other states in India. This is what Tamil Nadu is all about. We respect the Tamil culture, the traditions, because we are Tamil. We make Tamil Nadu, and we are very proud of it. Our elders, when they asked, what can I give, not what I can take from the society? And they asked with all fairness, with all honesty in their heart. So the past is very strong. I mean, when I talk to children, I tell them there's a lot of history of Tamil Nadu. The children need to know. The contribution of each other, the contribution of the Muslim community. I'll take the example of nobody else, but with all humility, I'll take the example of the Nawabs of the Carnatic. Many people don't know that more than 350 Hindu temples are built on the lands contributed by the Nawabs, who were the Muslim rulers. So this made Tamil Nadu. Okay, let's talk about the present. So now if you see, our state is, I think, India's most developed state, at least one of the most developed states. We become number 2 in the economy, number 2 richest. And talking about the community, the Islamic community, Muslims contribute across all sectors. We have small trade, big entrepreneurships, industries, textiles, leather, food processing, medicine, education, law, engineering. Most of the sectors, contribution is by the Muslims. But our contribution may not always be visible, but it is real, it is meaningful. And the community work is also changing from, earlier we used to have this charity organizations, but now those charity organizations have also become the educational organizations. And skilled places are also, we have where the youngsters are getting empowered. And our youth, ladies and gentlemen, our youth, the Muslim youth, are entering all the sectors now, including technology, arts, sports, startups, public service, IAS, IRS, IFS, IPS, everywhere. So this is the present contribution of the community to the state and to the country. But there are many challenges we must accept. Every community has challenges, every community. And we must face those challenges honestly. I'll go with the first challenge is the quality education. Skill shortages, limited women's participation, access to capital for entrepreneurship. So we have to fill those gaps because Islam teaches us that change begins within. There's a line in the Quran which says, God will not change the situation of the people unless the people change their situation. So the answer, we can't keep always complaining. It doesn't work like that. We have to act. We have to be the change for the betterment of the state, for the betterment of the country. Okay, finally, I'll come to the future. This is my vision, my idea. I take responsibility of what I'm saying today. But the future, what I see from my point of view, is first thing, we need to have a quality education, especially for the girls. Must be top priority. An educated child strengthens the entire state, not just himself or herself. And by the grace of God, we have the best educational institutions, including Crescent. We have Mohammed Sadiq College, we have Numiyasi and many other institutions. And second is skills for a new world. Our youth must be ready for technology, AI, modern skills, global opportunities. We must become job creators, not job seekers. Again, when I'm talking about skills, again, I think the Crescent University needs a round of applause because they now have 140 new startups. So education, they are there. Skill, they are there. And women as partners. A community cannot progress with half its strength. When women contribute, it becomes 100% strength. So empowering women is not against the faith. Empowering women is never against the faith. It is the faith in action, I would say. So our role in Tamil Nadu's growth, when Muslims progress, the state benefits. And when Tamil Nadu grows, India grows. So I'll tell you, I'll finish by saying a message right from my heart, that we are not outsiders. We Muslims belong to India, we belong to the state of Tamil Nadu, this is our land, we were born here, we will die here. Nobody can say that, you go out of India. This is our land. My father, I remember him telling in his speeches many times, the Muslims who wanted to go to Pakistan have left already. The Muslims who have stayed in India, we are Indians. Nobody has the right anywhere to say that, Muslims get out of India. This is our home, we have contributed, we will contribute to our state, to our country. So I'll finish by saying that let us all raise a generation that is a proud Muslim, a proud Tamil, and a proud Indian. Thank you so much. Especially, I wanted to mention, very specially, I kept it in the last, a very important person who is very close to our heart, and he's traveled all the way from the United Arab Emirates, Janab Isa Al Ghurair Sahab, who is here with us. He needs a round of applause. And his son Yusuf Ghurair, they have crossed a long way to be in Chennai with us. And a bigger round of applause for people who have crossed the heavy traffic and reached the Chennai Trade Center. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
A very, very tall leader of the community. Every time I have to do that, I know that's true. But yes, a much needed message from a gentleman that we hold in very high regard, who's always been the symbol of peace and harmony, and also guiding us in the right direction on what communal harmony should always be about, and how our contributions should always showcase us in the best light possible. Thank you so much, sir. Moving on to our next speaker, who's going to talk about the contribution of the economy, the contribution of the community to the economy of Tamil Nadu, past, present, and future. We have our next speaker, Mr. Kombai Anwar. He's a writer and documentary filmmaker whose work is deeply rooted in the history and heritage of Tamil Nadu, with a particular focus on its Muslim past. A contributor to the Madras Gazetteer project, he writes regularly for leading newspapers and magazines. He has produced films for both international and regional exhibitions of the Archaeological Survey of India, the Philadelphia Museum of Art, the Linden Museum, Stuttgart, and Dakshin Chitra. Mr. Anwar also co-curated the Muslim Heritage House at Dakshin Chitra in Chennai. His documentary, Yadum, received the Bronze Remy Award at the 48th World Fest Houston International Film Festival. A leading light of a community, it is indeed a pleasure to welcome Mr. Kombai S. Anwar. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause, please.
Before our brother Anwar comes on stage, I want to acknowledge one more person who is like a battery. He charges people around him. And from afternoon, I'm fully charged just by sitting next to him. He's come from Dubai only for this summit. My dear brother, my friend, Ajmal Sharifuddin, who's here. You have to stand up. Thank you, Ajmal. Thank you so much. Anwar Saab, it's all yours.
Assalamu alaikum. Vanakkam. Good evening. My topic is, of course, is it community contribution, and I took it for granted that it's Muslim contribution. Because today, I just want to be myself. I don't want to be clouding myself, hiding myself behind some other identity. And the need of the hour is that the community has made such a huge contribution, Muslims. But today, a lot of it is being, there's an attempt to erase it and all that. And I just want to boldly say that yes, the community has contributed. I am a Muslim, and the Muslim contribution has to be said louder and clear. And that's why I just chose to write as Muslim contribution. Now, before you get into it, generally, when I talk of history, my first thing to audience in India here is unlearning history. Because the way our history books have been written, a lot of it is colored. A lot of it is with biases. And a lot of it is with little understanding. So if you are going to go through what you learned from school, you won't understand much. Okay, you need to unlearn. But however, the time is limited, so I'm just going to rush through some of the things. One of the major unlearnings, and I was really happy listening to other sessions, that now they are talking about shipbuilding in Tuticorin. Traditionally, look at one point of time, Tamil Nadu was not agrarian society. Generally, when they write, people say that Tamil Nadu was agrarian society. No, it was not an agrarian society. Agriculture was part of it. But more, Tamil Nadu has a very long, lengthy coastline. And it was also a maritime-based society. And what you see over there, it's a very interesting thing. It's in a 15th century bas-relief sculpture at a place called Tirukkurungudi. Now, Tirukkurungudi is nothing other than it's a temple, Alaiya Perumal temple, Alaiya Nambi temple. And Tirukkurungudi is the T in TV Sundaramayangar. TV Sundaramayangar's birthplace, Tirukkurungudi, it's near Tirunelveli. And you find this right inside the temple of the Arabs coming for trade. And they bring horses, camels, they bring gold, make a sale and go. So you find the ship, all that. So this beautiful sculpture, you'll find that. That's essentially what is the Muslim contribution. Now, when you go to Tamil society, is more than, millennium, more than 2-3 millennium old. And when you go into the Sangam literature or ancient Sangam literature, it talks about Yavanar. Yavanar tanda Vinayman Nangalam, Ponnodu vandu Kariyedu Perum Valangelum Musri. Musri was the capital of the Cheras. I'll be going through those things. Now, what the Yavanas, Yavanas is generally, again, the unlearning thing you need to do is Yavanas generally spoken as Greeks and Romans. It's not just Greeks and Romans. It's also the West Asians. It's predominantly it was the Arabs. Greeks and Romans did come at one point of time, but it was the Arabs who brought them. And they brought the gold. Until today, India is a sinking hole for gold, and they brought the gold and then took back pepper and other things in return. So you find that the Umayyad coins have been found in Kottamangalam, and number of other places, dirham and dinar and all that have been found across Tamil Nadu right from 8th century onwards. Okay, so now the thing is, this is on top, what you see is a quote by Marco Polo. When he comes to this place, especially when he goes to Kayalpatnam, he says they made a rule that wine drinkers and seafaring men are never to be accepted as sureties. Kudiyaram peche vilunda poche, vidinja poche. The same way, seafarers, their surety was not, because it was the most difficult, dangerous profession. And who did the seafaring? From the 10th century onwards, it was the Muslims. It was predominantly the Muslims, who crossed the seas, the oceans, the turbulent oceans, and brought the gold. So the thing is, in New Zealand, there was a bell was discovered, a bell that was in the mast of a ship. And the Maori tribes, they were actually cooking with that bell, thinking it was a vessel. And finally, one of the priests, saw that, and he took the bell. And what they discovered was that bell had a Tamil name, Mohideen Baksu. Okay, New Zealand. And so this is the kind of danger. It was a shipwreck, probably, that took this bell over there. And that's the kind of life that was spent by the Muslims enriching this land. Now I'll come to, we spoke about the Sangam poetry, now we'll come to the Moovendars. Moovendars are the traditional triumvirate ruling kings of Tamil Nadu, the Cheras, Cholas and Pandyas. Now you find the chairman, now since the time is limited, I'm skipping some of things, confining only to the business part of it, the trade part of it. So the chairman Perumal is supposed to be the Chera ruler who embraced Islam. I will not go too much into it. This is accepted by the oral Brahminical record in Kerala by Keralopati. More to us, what is important too is, just like today there is UEF, United Economic Forum, a forum for traders, for businessmen, industrialists. You had in those days something called Anjuvannam. Tamil country had a lot of trade groups. Tisayai Nutruvar, Manigramam, Anjuvannam. Anjuvannam is a corruption of Anjuman, guild in Persian. The connection with Persia was much there, as much as it was with Arabia. And so people, today's scholars have come around to the view that Anjuvannam is a corruption of Anjuman. And what is interesting is this is a copper plate given by the Chera king, Tanuravi. And it was for the Christians to build a church, rights to the church, Tarisa Palli. And that Tarisa is actually a Persian for Christians. And that witnesses, there are a number of witnesses, and you find these signatories. Among the signatories, Maimun, son of Ibrahim, these is, I'm saying, mid-9th century. Okay? And they were given rights, grants, those bodies, Anjuvannam could, the church, Anjuvannam trade body could resolve conflicts by itself, those sort of rights were there. And this Anjuvannam guild was spread across Indonesia, West Asia and South India. So somebody from Konkan coast was part of the Anjuvannam guild, will travel down to Mantai. Mantai is in Sri Lanka, and then come to Vizag or somewhere Kilakarai, Kayalpatnam. So this entire zone Sri Lanka was not a separate thing as we see today. The entire thing was one economic zone, and that was through the Anjuvannam guild. Now the thing is, what was the position of Muslims? Not just traders, you have Rashtrakutas who are neighbors to us, who were ruling Karnataka. There was an Arab governor. How many of you are aware of that? There was an Arab governor for the Rashtrakutas in the early 10th century. Okay? Now, the Cholas did not do anything. They were not far behind. So you have in the big temple, I'm sure it's an engineering marvel. If you go to big temple, you'll find it's filled with the inscriptions. And among one of the inscriptions says Sonagan Savur. I said Yavanas first. The Sangam poetry talks of Yavanas. But by medieval time, the name changes to Sonagar, which predominantly means Muslims. And you find one of the Rajaraja Chola's official is Sonagan Savur. And he was involved in the administration of the temple. Today, in the conditions that we are, can you imagine 10th century Rajaraja Chola's official was a Muslim who was administering part of the administration of the temple. And he, under Rajendra, his son, actually took a larger title. He was made Tirumandra Volai Nayagam, which is, the royal writ writer. It's a very high position. It's almost close to a minister. And then subsequently, he also was given the title Rajendra Chola Kandra Perarian. He was very musically accomplished. So this was the position of the Cholas. In Big Temple, if you go, you will find among the inscriptions, Chonagan Sidike, Dirham, the Arab Dirham being in use, all that, you will find the inscription. So that talks about the kind of trade that existed at that point of time, and that what Tamil Nadu, Tamil country had with Arabia and Southeast Asia. Now, Pandya's Marco Polo comes to Kayalpatnam. He went to Kublai Khan, he went to China, he was sent on a mission by the Pope to convert the Chinese emperor. He went there, stayed there for a while, and then he had to take back a Persian princess, and he took the land route. He came here, he came to Madras, basically to pay pilgrimage to St. Thomas, but he was also there in Kayalpatnam. He looks at the kind of ships that were coming from Arabia, from Aden, from Kis in Persia, all that, and how prosperous the city was, how the traders were making it prosperous. Predominantly, they were bringing in horses and then taking by other things. And Sultan Jamaluddin. Now, these are things, all this is not part of Watts University. Everything has archaeological inscription or something, evidence to it. So Sultan Jamaluddin, Nilakanta Shastri writes, was actually a minister under the Pandya. And he was sent as an ambassador to the Chinese Emperor Kublai Khan. Okay? Now we are talking about proper Pandya. This is 13th century. Now colonialism, with colonialism comes the conflict, and the day Vasco da Gama sets foot in India, everything changes. It's gunboat diplomacy, things are not the same. That's Vasco da Gama in a meeting with the Zamorin, and one of the first conditions he puts, the golden time that the Muslims had actually comes to an end at that point of time, trouble starts. The first condition the Vasco da Gama puts the Zamorin is stop trading with the Moors. Because for them, Moors meant Muslims. The Moors are the ones they encountered in Portugal, in Spain, and they related to that, and they said stop trading with the Moors. The Zamorin refused. Because who is he to dictate? And Moors are basically his subjects. Muslims are his subjects. So in fact, he actually tried to improve his navy. So what the Zamorin did was he fought back, and he fought back with Kunjali Marakayar. What you find is a place called Madhavan Kurchi. It is near Kayalpatnam, about 15 kilometers from Kayalpatnam. And today, the community over there worships Kunjali Marakayar. Okay, they still remember. And so Kunjali Marakayar, there are 4 Marakayars. They went and they fought with the Portuguese till the last one was kind of betrayed. Now, you come to the Ramnath Sethupathis. Now, the same thing when you come to the Tamil country, that's Ramnath, Sidakadi, the home place of the president and B.S. Abdurrahman and all that. A lot of you are from Kilakarai. And I'm sure, this mosque, this is the Dravidian Islamic architecture. And please, just because it is there, and there is a tendency to call anything in stone as temple. This is basically Dravidian Islamic architecture. There are thousands of mosques like this. Not just in Tiruparanguram Dargah, but mosques all over Tamil Nadu, especially in the coastal regions, in southern regions, you will find mosques. Because one thing you have to understand, Islam does not have agamas like Hinduism. A mosque is a place of worship, and if you are building a mosque, the Prophet's mosque itself did not have dome or minaret. Okay? Don't think minaret and dome are essential aspect of Islam. It is not. So, wherever it spread, Islam, they built the mosque in the local architecture. In China, you have 1,000-year-old mosques which are built in Chinese architectural style. In Mali, you have mosques built in mud architecture. So this is which we should be proud about. And this was built by Sidakadi. Sidakadi is one of those legendary ones, Chetam Koduthan Sidakadi, known for philanthropy. He who gave even after his death. And now there are confusion as to who is Sidakadi, and he is also referred to as Periyathambi Marakayar. Now there are also Periyathambi Marakayars, number of Marakayars, and the Dutch, the Portuguese are gone, but the Dutch are there, and Dutch are trying to take over the trade, and they create enough trouble for Sidakadi, and they force the Ramnath Sethupathis to actually stop dealing with the Sidakadi. But Ramnath Sethupathi continuously keeps refusing it, and he sides with Sidakadi. Though he enters, he is forced into agreements by the Dutch. So just like the rulers of Tamil Nadu have always been supportive of Muslims, despite any trouble, that's what Ramnath Sethupathi also says. Now I also come to Arcot Nawabs. Tamil Nadu comes under the Mughals by the end of 17th century, and you have Arcot Nawabs. Prince Asif Ali, spoke before me, and they tried to, Nawab Saadullah Khan, he was one of the early Nawabs who comes from the Nawabite line. He tried to actually build a port at Mylapore, to rival Fort St. George. And the British feared, if a fort comes, a harbor comes right across Fort St. George, they lose business. So they pleaded with him. Finally, he built a harbor at Kovalam. And the Nawabs are also known for their secular rule. So what you find, the coin below is actually Murugan. And the Nawabs, though they were Muslims, their coinage had both the Hindu gods and goddesses and also Tamil. Now, talking about 19th century, I'm just quickly shifting. So this tradition continued. In the 19th century, you had a whole lot of people, the Badshahs, the Khalilis, then you have Malang Ahmad Badshah, you have Nawab Abdul Hakim, Jamal Muhammad. You had a whole lot of people who were contributing. They were very big. And also South Indian Chamber of Commerce. I was looking at South Indian Chamber of Commerce 1914. There are 27 executive members. Out of the 27 executive members in 1914, 9 of them were Muslims. Imagine 9 Muslim members on South Indian Chamber of Commerce in 1914. And 20th century, dawns, and you can't, I'm not doing this to please the president or anything, but he is a real dominant force. B.S. Abdur Rahman, just like Sida Qadi of 20th century, his contribution had been, I think the president also spoke about his contribution, how in Dubai they were one of the biggest employers, and still the tradition continues. So this has been the kind of contribution that the Muslims have continued to make to Tamil Nadu, and some kind of an unlearning and understanding that our contribution has been really, truly valuable. We are bringing gold to this place, making this place rich is needed. And I thank once again the President for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I've loved history all my life, but I'm really sad after seeing all this that I don't know this history. Thank you for keeping it alive in everyone's minds, and I hope that this doesn't die, and we continue to get reminded of the rich history that we have created as a community and continue to contribute more. Thank you so much, sir. Pleasure. Big round of applause to Mr. Kombai Anwar. I request the Nawabzada, His Excellency, Mohamed Asif Ali Sahab, Dewan to the Prince of Arcot, to please give a memento to Mr. Kombai Anwar, sir.